What's up, guys? I am Caleb Giddings,
I am Keith.
And I'm Jack.
and we are not government psyops. Everything we do is on the up and up. This podcast is brought to you by Taurus USA and guns.com. Taurus USA, affordable does not mean cheap, and guns.com, they sell guns, they make content, they're cool dudes. And if you're wondering why I opened the episode by very clearly stating that we were not government, like a secret government program, well, you'll just have to wonder about that for the rest of your life, because I don't even want to put the energy into the universe that we are just now trying to recover from. But
There was a thing. We are beyond the thing. Psyops, not psyops.
right. But on that note, so this episode is about conspiracy theories, some of our favorite ones. One of my favorite conspiracy theories is the idea of these, like, first off, I actually hate the term psyop. Psyop used to mean something. It used to mean an actual planned psychological warfare operation that was executed by a branch of the government or a government agency or something like that with
Yeah,
a goal and an intent.
what was it? Venice, Central American country where the CIA was actually draining blood out of bodies to be like, yeah, motherfucker, vampires.
That's a
That's a
psyop.
psyop.
Also, I'm not even going to type that into my browser. Like, I want to know if that happened for
Operation
real.
Elder Son, a
Oh, no,
No,
psyop.
no.
that was
So, here's something that is not a psyop. Hot girls in the military posting on TikTok. Guys, the military represents less than 1% of the US population. However, in that less than 1% of the US population, sometimes hot girls join the military. Just because a hot girl or even a mildly attractive girl is in the military and is posting on TikTok does not mean she's a psyop. What it means is you need to go outside, you need to run a few miles and do some push-ups and get this out of your brain. Like, I don't know what's wrong with
means she's
you.
under 30.
Yeah, they're not psyops. They're just girls in the military. Okay, go do a push up or like 70. Anyway, that's my rant on that. Keith, why don't you tell the people about what kind of set this off? Like, what was the big thing in our space about it?
Oh, yes. So the other thing that was also not a psyop was the recent unfortunate incident with the ATF's e-form system. Guys, this was not a psyop, although the internet exploded with like, this is because they got their funding down and the funding is gone for the ATF e-form system. Guys, that's not how the internet works. That's not how systems work. There's not some poor intern in the basement of somewhere in Washington, D.C. feeding dollar bills into the internet machine to keep it on.
I mean,
That's not how
remember,
e-forms work. What happened, if you read the emails, and if you were NFA, if you have dealt with the NFA e-form system, you got this email because they sent it to everybody, which started another panic. It
I got
was
it
very,
3 times because I got it because
yep, I
I
got,
have a personal account and I have a couple of work accounts that have
yep,
separate e-forms accounts or access. And I was like, yes, I get it. The fucking system is down.
yep, I've got it. I got it 2 times, and I think I've gotten the same email about 5 times on both of those systems because I have e-forms for the FFL and I have a personal e-forms for my own stuff. And so I got told like 10 times to upload my Form 2s, which doesn't matter to me because I'm not a manufacturer. I don't do Form 2s. I
Mm-hmm.
deal with 1s, 3s, and 4s. That's it. And
No,
if
no, we're
someone
talking
dies,
about
I will deal with
e-forms,
a
not
Form
your
5.
dating life.
That's it. So e-forms went down for like 3 days. Why? Actually, a very common internet issue where the system just keeps creating and stashing data somewhere. And it does it over and over and over again. And nobody looks. Nobody looks to see that, like, hey, there's a bunch of files just building up in this corner that nobody knows about. And then the server fills up and it goes, eh, and that's what happened, which is why, if you read the emails, there is now a 90-day expiration on any draft you put in the system because literally millions of these things got backed up in the system. We're just chilling there. Each one's takes up X amount of space, and it's got uploads like photographs and fingerprints, which take up a lot of space because they're high-res files. And millions of these things got backed up. So now they're nuking them after 90 days. So don't sit on your NFA paperwork is the moral of the story. It was not a psyop. It is not because they had $150 million of their budget slashed or on the chopping room floor from Congress, which is another thing I've read. That may have something to do with the fact that wait times have suddenly gone drastically down because they're like, oh, they're going to take our money if our customer service doesn't improve. I would believe that. I would believe that as a motivating factor. However, I would also believe that they finally got an automated process they have been working on between the NIC system, which is run by the FBI, and the NFA system, which is the ATF's domain. I would suspect they finally got an automation there done, which shouldn't have been as hard as it is, but it is because government. And so that's
That
why wait times are down for individuals specifically, because now you can do a NICS check, and once it clears, they can be like, send.
Bro, the fact that Nix and eForms weren't like, I would have rather waited for eForms to be built for an extra 6 months for them to just do the integration off the rip so that a Nix check went populated into eForms. But, because it's a government conspiracy and they don't actually want to approve your NFA items and they want us to all be just
Never.
running
They don't
around.
like collecting $200 every time you buy everything. The
Right.
government doesn't like money.
Yeah. The conspiracy that the ATF doesn't want to approve your NFA items is patently untrue. It's not that they don't want to approve them, it's that you submitted a Form 1 to build a suppressor out of a car oil filter, and the stated purpose on your Form 1 was shooting the government. So no, they're not gonna approve that one.
You know what? The
I
sad
wish
thing
you
is, I
to
think they
tax
probably
this
would.
dick.
They're just
You know,
like,
they-
yeah, whatever.
They might. Well, and
What,
here,
what's the funniest listed reason you've seen approved?
Clown got approved.
Clown
Clown got
did-
Got
approved.
approved. I've seen Alien Invasion. That one got approved.
I just put I just put what I'm actually making it for. Like I wanted to make a backpack. I wanted to make a compact single shot SBR, and they're like, that seems reasonable. And so one of the lesser known secrets about the ATF, and something that you would not realize if you watched. So part of the ATF's psyop was while they're right after their systems went down, then their director went on the TV to talk about guns and how dangerous they were, and it was
he brought an expert.
boy howdy, that expert was.
He was on that struggle bus with that Glock, my friend.
I mean, if you guys didn't see it, you should watch it just because
so
it's
funny.
fucking comical. But it's also
so
like,
funny.
I mean, here's the thing, and one of the things people don't know. I have friends who are ATF agents on the law enforcement sides. I have a friend who works. I have friends who work in Fat D. Fat D is full of gun nerds, by the way, and also again, best agency department name,
best sub department acronym ever. The Fat D.
I have friends like Fat D's full of gun nerds. You got to know, like the gun nerds and Fat D were watching that, just being like, "Oh, that is fucking dumb."
Now they think we're all retarded.
No, we don't think you're retarded. Well, so we think some of you
Some
are retarded,
of like
for
Gettleback,
sure.
definitely.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, speaking of conspiracy theories, so we had another one that popped up right after the ATF one, and that was because it was Super Tuesday, which this one was the most baffling one to me because I wonder if the people who openly espouse this on their Twitter feeds see the same color sky that I see, right? Because if you are not familiar with the American electoral process, Super Tuesday is the day when a significant number of states hold their primaries. Their
15.
primaries. So Meta's servers take a shit. And the best tweet I saw about it was from Elon Musk on Twitter, where he said, if you're reading this, it's because our servers work. And I'm like,
Twitter servers go down
all
more
the
than my
time.
ex-wife.
Right. But that's
Secondly,
the best way to throw shade, is to just be like, haha, fuck you guys.
Like, well played. Like, we're not going to deep dive into the viability of your servers. However, well played in the moment, sir. It was funny.
It was funny in the moment. But like, there were people uncritically with their whole chest, with their outside voice, saying that, questioning whether Facebook, Meta, Instagram going down on Super Tuesday was a practice run for shutting down the internet on the actual election day, so someone can steal the election.
You need a better hobby. Let's start right there. You need a better hobby. I would recommend crocheting. Well, no, they're pointing needles, so you don't want those.
Yeah,
those will hurt you. Maybe trying on different bicycle safety helmets and seeing which one fits your day-to-day life. You moron. let's start there. If you
It's so
believe that
bad.
and you're listening to this show, I want you to go schedule a vasectomy. You need to be out of the gene pool as fast as possible.
If you're a woman, go do the lady version of that, whatever it is.
No women listen to this. Let's start there. Let's
That's
leave.
that's fair.
Yeah, I've seen
That's
a
fair.
demo.
Not
There's like
one.
3.
You know how many guys hit me? I'm like, I love the show. I'm like, thanks, bud. You know how many women? None. Never. Women in my life who love me don't listen to this show. I'm like,
That is fair.
catch this show. And they're like, no, why would I listen to that? I
Two
deal
of
with enough of you.
Two of my very closest friends who are women who are in the firearms industry do not listen to this show.
Let's start.
So,
Let's do this. Let's do this.
I know one.
Hold on.
I know
the
one.
first woman to contact us and say that they actually listen to this show and there will be questions. There will be questions. You will be quizzed. We'll get a Taurus gun too.
and you know what? Yes, Taurus USA signs off on that. So here's the deal: you have to contact either. So you have to either leave a comment, or if you are a woman that actually has our contact information, you can do it that way, right? Like if I get an email from somebody in 2 minutes after this airs that says, I am a woman, I listen to the show, you win. All right. And we will compare timestamps. So you can email any one of us.
We're going to ask some questions. We're going to ask what your favorite episode was.
There'll be follow-ups.
There'll be follow-ups. But the first one to fill out all the data forms and we can be like, yep, you're actually a fan. Free gun.
Yeah. Free gun. Free gun of my choosing.
Guys, if you pretend to be your wife for a free Taurus gun,
you should also get a new hobby.
New hobby time.
Yeah, new hobby time.
Perhaps a slinky dress to go with it.
So no, but I don't understand how dumb you have to be to part of me wants to believe that these people are just saying clickbait on X to get engagement. But I saw multiple
that for the majority. I don't believe that for the majority. They are so bought into this stuff because it's the most entertaining thing in their lives, right?
Okay. One, Facebook going down affects nothing in the world.
No.
It really, the worst it did was my friends had to we had to text each other. And my workflow communication sucked on that day. And I personally, as a social media manager, was like, free day off.
Basically.
And then when it came back in an hour, you were like,
no. Yeah. Also, worst outage ever. It was back in 2.5 hours. So,
right, guys, if they wanted to do something, they would make it work better. That would be the thing to keep people from going to the polls, or totally change all the information you see on it, or a million other things other than turning it off.
Well, and there's a good point. So if Facebook and Instagram, let's say on election day, Facebook, Instagram, and you know it would, if you were gonna try to keep people from going to the polls, you know what you should shut down on election day? And they already know this. I'm not telling anybody anything they don't know. You shut down Google, because then people can't Google what their polling place is. All right. And I guarantee that there is a percentage of people where if they could not type in where I go vote, they won't go vote. All right. Regardless of the fact that you could go to your state, treasurer, attorney general, or whatever state election authority and find it from there without having to Google. But if you wanted to keep people from going to the polls, shut down Google. Or because the internet is a series of tubes, today, since we're using dated millennial references, you just plug up one of the tubes at one end, and then the information doesn't get out there and people will not know where to vote. But it's just that it's a very dumb conspiracy theory. And you know what it is? You know what pisses me off about most conspiracy theories? Lazy. They're lazy thinking.
There's no second order thought. They're just
first order thought. It makes sense at that first order level, and there's no let me Occam's razor this for literally 3 seconds.
Literally 3 seconds.
And that's why stuff like the moon landing especially is the one that. I used to use that when I would go on dates. I would ask people if they believed the moon landing actually happened. And if I had a whole series of crash landings where I'm like, is this, I work questions you would work into the conversation to be like, is this going to be a one night stand, or might I actually date this person?
Okay. I've definitely had some people tell me some things on dates where I'm like,
yeah. And you're like, oh, you meant that. with your whole chest. You said that to me.
That
But yeah,
I
this
had
came
I
that
had someone tell
started
me
here, ended here, and interesting.
I had someone tell me that they thought like it wasn't a conspiracy theory, but she was like, I believe all gun owners are like narcissist crazy people. And I'm like, I own guns, right? Like I'm fairly open about that fact. There's a person who knew me. And she's
mhm.
like, oh yeah, but you're different. And I'm like, what
Bro,
cognitive distance do you have in your life?
I have, I bet you, okay, everybody who has been in the dating pool as an adult, as a guy who owns guns, who is, and past the, you need to be a gun owner past the, I just own stuff level, right? Like you need to be an avid competitor in the self-defense space, something like that.
You
That
regularly do
conversation has happened
IDPA.
to you.
You go to
Yeah.
training courses. You do
I
something like that.
I I have had that conversation happen to me on multiple occasions where someone's like, "Oh, well, all those gun owners," and I'm like, hi, I at the time I run a gun store," and they're like, "Yeah, but you're different. You're responsible," and I'm like,
I
Right.
know
all of
Well,
several
my
we've
friends are
we've
like
also on the
me.
flip side all met those people that you're like, maybe not you.
Yeah,
We've
no,
met
that's
those
I
fair.
people too.
I
But
have I have a female friend who went out with a guy and she carries and his assumption, I'm not kidding. His assumption that he told her was that in an emergency, she would give him her gun.
that's
That's
bold.
a exciting assumption to make.
Was this Dan Bilzerian?
Oh man, I could watch that video clip of that cop telling him to get fucked every day, and I would never see it enough. Oh,
Out of a horrible situation, we get that little gem of like, oh, you're still insufferable, Dan. That's
hey,
great.
speaking of horrible situations that ended up being hilarious, did we talk about the Great Acorn Massacre of 2024?
All right.
The greatest part about this is
Okay,
perhaps
first off,
that
I need to clarify something. And this is a conversation I had with my wife. She's like, "This doesn't seem funny." And I'm like, "I need to be very clear. It is only funny because the cop was a shitty shot. Like because no one died, this is funny."
Well, okay. Here's what I'll say. It's not funny, but for one gleaming moment, everyone,
We all
right,
agreed.
left, all came together were like, you suck. You in particular. And
And
fun
also
fact,
his partner.
me and Keith are 1 degree of separation away from this guy.
we know someone who knows this guy, and not
Actually, we
just
know a
like,
few
oh, I
people
met
that
him
know this
once.
guy.
Went
They went, yeah,
went to school together.
went to West Point with this guy. And we were like, well, we
Oh yeah,
gotta
that's
know him.
right. I forgot he was a. So I remember when I found out that he was a former West Pointer. My immediate reaction was, "Oh well, that makes sense," because I have absolutely nothing but contempt in my heart for West Point graduates. So, and I know there's been some great ones, but they're no good ones. All right, I'm sure. I'm sure there's a
They're okay.
couple. You know,
They're
well,
all autistic and they're
Ulysses
all
S. Yeah,
very weird.
So much.
Ulysses S. Grant went to West Point, I think. So he was
So
probably all right.
okay, so let's one um if what stimulates this thing? Domestic, this has been done to death. I think everyone knows at this point. What what a fucking weirdo. Why two combat roles?
The combat roles were the weirdest part. Now,
The double rolls and then just lighting up his own cruiser as he was convinced that this dude had just removed a silenced pistol from his keister and was lighting him up.
right, this dude who was handcuffed behind his back in the backseat of his car. Now, look,
So
I've had acorns fall on my car. The shit is loud and it's
Yeah.
surprising, but I did not for even a hot second think that there was a gun going off.
a couple of years ago, an incident happened where a handcuffed individual in the back of a police car who had been searched
Did have a
ha-
weapon,
did
yes.
have a weapon, and he did crank off a couple of shots in the police garage.
I
Is
do
where he
remember
decided
that.
to do this, and then one chose death. Just like everybody dumped this dude, and he survived until one cop got behind him and was just like, "Oh, there you are, black cow." sleepy time forever. And his parents were like, "Why did they do that?" And I'm like, "Because he shot at him. You
Yeah,
don't get to do that."
he needed the permanent nap, and he got what he had
So
coming.
He caught the FO nap.
so when we look at the Acorn thing, is it possible the guy had a gun? I guess, but I've certainly never thought an Acorn was a gunshot. Uh, I struggle with this situation, and just like the post one, you've got to watch the whole thing. If you can get a hold of the whole batch cam footage
Oh,
and
it's amazing.
his post shooting interview where people are like, "What the fuck, bro? What happened here?" And he's like, he's gone. He is someplace else. I have heard people be like, "But what if he has PTSD?"
The
No
news
excuse.
report that I
It's no
read
excuse. Here's the
shortly
thing.
after him that being posited in circles, like what if like he was infantry and he got into special forces, like what if he had a bad time? The news report that I read explicitly stated that he had not seen combat, and that was because he was an officer, which is what set up which is what actually set off the wheels turning in the head of Jack and my mutual friend, who then were like, that name sounds familiar, and looked
Here's
up
the
his
thing.
class and
If
discovered,
he
oh, that one.
if he has PTSD, it's no excuse.
No.
It's not.
Correct.
You went and took a job where firearms and violence would be part of it, and that is part of the job of being a police officer. And you decided, if 100% of your brain believes that to be a suppressed gunshot, um,
That
your
still does
actions,
not absolve you of the responsibility to identify
right, be
and
aware of your
yeah.
threat, be aware of your target, what's beyond it. There is no magged up into your own car, for starters.
Now,
Like,
I want to add something, and this I feel like this has been somewhat glossed over in all of it, because yeah, well, this guy was a dumb dick. Uh his partner was also equally a dumb dick, because she
no,
just
no, no.
no,
I'm
so
gonna fight.
hang on, because I've heard the argument that you're about to make is that she saw her partner lighting up their vehicle and immediately assumed that there was a threat in there and just decided to join in, and that's a reasonable reaction to have if you see your partner lighting up a vehicle.
Contagious fire is a thing.
Hold on. Here's what I'm gonna
Let's
say.
let
Here's what
Jack.
I'm gonna say.
Maybe not okay,
Place
fine,
your
maybe not equally a dumb dick.
place yourself in her situation, because here's the thing that makes her not a dumb dick. Okay, gunfire starts. She turns. She has no information other than gunfire. Her partner screams in the car, where he is shooting. All
All
right.
right, I did forget
I,
about the
I,
actual, like, he actually said in the car.
so she turns, she engages, pop, 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 pop. Then she stops because there's no refractory. She's not. As soon as she starts shooting, she then stops and checks. She's like, "Hey, wait a second." She does the thing that is so hard to do, which is ramp up all your violent aggression to 100% and then let go of the throttle
All right, I
and come
retract my
off
statement about her being a dumb dick.
and start processing information while fucking Dickory Do over there is hands and knees crawling, trying to reload. The only thing that saved this from being like all the ammunition he had
Was that he fell
was,
down.
was that he fell down and he couldn't do a reload and he thought he was hit and he thought he was injured. His own mental game is so beyond borked. It's
Okay,
not. It's almost not funny.
but what about why the combat roles? Like, because here's the thing, and like,
I don't know why the combat roles, but going back to her perspective, like your West Point grad special forces partner is violently lighting up, and I don't know what their relative experience levels are on this department. But if she's the rookie, if she's the junior of the two, and your West Point grad special forces trained partner is lighting up a car, and your initial reaction is to do the same thing, like that's understandable to a degree. And then she, like Jack pointed out, she stops and starts assessing and starts asking, what's going on? What happened? What'd you see? What happened? And then he's shouting like, I'm hit, I'm not hit. And then she's like, are you? And then he's like, oh, the plate must have got it.
Yeah,
It
and obviously
is.
he was not hit in any way, shape,
No,
or
He
no.
form.
wasn't hit. Neither was the
Nope.
guy in the car.
Which
Miracles upon
again,
miracles. I want to
that's
say
That that dude is about to be very wealthy.
he's going to be okay.
yeah, he'll be all right.
If you've never really seen what the payout is for when the police mess up, here's what's going to happen. He is going to file a civil suit, more than likely, as is his right. Now, Jack Clemens would like to speak now as Jack Clemens, the individual, not as a representative of any companies. The views and beliefs held by Jack Clemens are of Jack Clemens himself. All right, shitbag in the back of the police car. Let's start on your list of sins. You stole your girlfriend's car in a domestic dispute and then sent her pictures of you holding a fake firearm in a threatening manner if she called the police. You, sir, are a grade A dickbag. Now, did you deserve to be shot at? No, that is wrong and a violation of your civil rights. Do you deserve to be pulled behind something and smacked around a little bit by a government official? No, because that would be an abuse of government power. Should her brother or father have dragged you behind that house and beaten you?
With a garden hose.
Yeah, with something. Yep. Yes, you deserved a beating. You deserved your shit rocked a little bit. But that would be a violation of the law of man, not of my gods. But you didn't deserve to be shot at. So you do deserve some compensation for that. I want to be very clear. You are a shitbag. You're not a good person. And maybe being shot at like this will give you some sort of clarity to life of like, I was kind of being a shitbag today. I didn't deserve this.
I did not catch a hole, however, so I'm going to take this as an opportunity.
That is literally it is the scene from Pulp Fiction where they get shot at and missed, and it's like, you know what? I am going to change my life. Like,
wait, let's rewind. Where the bullet hole's already in the police car.
Yeah, exactly. Deep cut.
Now I'm picturing the scene from the scene from True Lies where he lights up the bathroom and there's just like holes everywhere. There's like 300
well made
holes in
are these cop cars? This poor dude had to be laying there,
like wandering out, like.
I mean,
he's probably going to get like high 6 figures, low 7 figures check, which he'll then blow.
Yeah,
I would
or he'll catch something else in the meantime and they won't have to pay out. So
they'll still have to pay out on this.
Yeah.
I mean, like short him dying.
Yeah.
I mean, anyway, the guy's a scumbag. No questions asked about that.
I will say, I hope he makes a hard shift in his life, and he's like, "Hey, baby, I'm sorry I stole the car. This clearly escalated. I'm a dumbass. Take me back or don't. That's up to you. But I will be getting this fat check from the government, and if you take me back, I'm going to buy you a brand new Altima because you know it was an Altima." It was.
It probably was an Altima, or it might have been a Sentra. Let's be real. But anyway, so the other thing that came out of that is the memes were absolutely fire. Now,
and it was universally so. The memes were fantastic, and it was a unifying moment for the internet of just like, wow.
And they fired him so fast.
Which they
were just like,
there's like, and here's the thing, right? Like, I understand some use of force cases, they need to like investigate. There's no investigation for that one. We all saw the footage. Hasta la vista, baby.
Hey, Bobby, can I get you in my office real quick? Yeah. I'm gonna need your gun, your badge, your shoes. Give me your shoes. I'm gonna take your shoes. Like, bro,
I'm gonna hit you
your
with
dignity. You don't have that anymore.
No. Hey, Bobby, check in with me real quick before you clock in today. Do I even have to say anything? No,
like, you're fired, right? Like,
you're fired. You are a shit candidate.
I don't even know why you bothered to come today.
If I was you,
that
I
was
would stay at
very
home.
enthusiastic on your part, like very optimistic, very enthusiastic. Wrong.
Also,
would
don't live in this state. Like, you got to change your name. You got to
Also,
move.
can I just say, of course, Florida. Of course, this happened in Florida. Like,
Now, I will say, I do want to
Great Florida.
humanize a moment where I had a very similar incident to this, and to show that we are humans and we too are fallible. I did have a moment that was my Acorn moment. I was driving my friend to the airport in Detroit, and a giant biological smashed into my windshield so hard that I panicked and drove off the road, and believed for a moment, actually for like several hours, that an airplane had opened up its gray water tank and dumped human feces all over my car. It was not. It was a Canada goose had shit on my car, and it was so big, and the impact of it was so it hit the windshield. It went everywhere. I screamed like a girl. I was like, ah! My partner was like, ah! We were like, what the? I drove off the road in my Dodge Magnum. I was like,
what
then
a
we got
great
back
car.
on. Then we got back on the road. I'm like, why? Why would someone shit on my car? And from that moment on, it was on site with Canada geese.
For the record, if you're listening to this and you are a Canada goose, it's on site regardless because
Yeah, I'm just
don't.
Nope.
I hate them things. There's like they live down on the running trail that I use.
There are a few irredeemable animals in this world, and Canadian geese are all of them.
I would rather hunt raptors with a shotgun than
Justice for Muldoon.
Oh.
Justice
You
for
want to
Muldoon.
talk?
Let's do
talk
it
about conspiracy theory. Okay,
do it. Send it, Jack.
All right. Robert Muldoon is the game warden and head of security for Jurassic Park in both the book and the 1993 film. Robert Muldoon dies in the movie. He doesn't die in the book.
No, in the book he lives.
You know why? You know what Robert Muldoon, experienced big game hunter, carries with him in the book? A fucking rocket launcher. Because he lives in a world where giant 3-ton animals live. And he's like, hey, I better have a case full of laws in the back of my truck. You don't have a job until you have your truck law, your truck gun, truck law. That's where it's at. But in the movie, you know why? Because Hollywood had to do some fuckery. Look at Robert Muldoon. Look when he walks anywhere. His quads are just like solid packed muscle.
And they fill out those shorts.
He's wearing knee socks and he's masculine. That's how tough this dude is. Knee socks and shorts, and you're like, that's a man. He's got his hat with one side folded up. He's wearing his vest, his cargo shorts. He's ready to go. And what does our experienced game hunter take from his personal arms locker
to hunt dangerous multi-ton animals?
To go out into Jurassic Park. I take my Fianchi Spaz 12. I'm sorry. Did I get off the bus in Crazy Town? You took the Jam-O-Matic Foldomatic out into the world and was like, Shrek, let's go. Literally, no movie can show this guy. It jamming on the third shot in Jurassic Park is the most realistic scene with a Banshee Spaz 12 ever.
Yeah, no, it really is. And like, yeah, I don't understand.
Yeah, when they drop it on the ground, like, yep, it's fucked.
So they know the gun doesn't work well. Robert Muldoon is put into this movie by Hollywood to die, to take away our masculine heroes. Who is the hero of fucking Jurassic Park? Alan Grant. Alan Grant has a testosterone level of a freshly picked avocado.
He's like, we have Indiana Jones at home.
Right. Alan Grant is so insecure in his masculinity that when a 13-year-old challenges him on a subject matter, he takes out a bone and like starts carving on the kid, trying to scare the shit out of him. That's not manly. If you watched a grown man try and scare a 13-year-old like that, you'd be like, what the fuck is wrong with you, dude? Like, that's not okay. He's a kid. Well, why is the kid on the dig site? That doesn't make a lot of sense. But anyway, Robert Muldoon is out here stalking in the jungle with his fucking shotgun with the stock all folded. Robert, why? It's in storage mode. He's like,
an
now it's
experienced big
time.
game hunter, and you know there are multiple of these things that
I'm
I need to
100
shoot
yards away from this raptor. Better unfold my stock. Oh,
Right.
one guy next to.
Like, why didn't he have like a 458 lot or a side-by-side express rifle? Like something
any
that
big
makes
game
sense.
gun would have made sense.
Right. Like
big gun bolt or lever gun.
Yeah.
If you wanted to do the shotgun route, a Benelli M1 would have been perfectly fine, would have looked very similar on screen. Yeah. And yeah, if I'm hunting raptor, I probably want something with more than 2 shots that's semi-auto. I probably want a 12 gauge so I can chop them legs out from under them things. But Robert Muldoon is killed to make Alan Grant look better. Alan Grant sucks. Let me just say that. Alan Grant sucks. Is he brave? Yeah, he's a little brave. He goes out there to save those kids.
He does I will say Alan Grant
does
has
heroic
a good
things
arc.
for what he's able to do. But
in
like,
real life, in real life, we can all accept the fact that Muldoon probably wouldn't have waited for an order to go get the kids. Muldoon would have been like, "There's a problem with the fence. All right, I'm gonna get in my truck full of guns and rockets. I'm gonna go get the fucking people that are out in the park and bring them back here." Where
I'm the security director and it's my job.
Where we will chill in this armored room until help comes. It's full of food. I've got a bunch of rocket launchers. Everybody chill. This is welcome to.
Can we just say,
and Jurassic Park.
We need to close out on this, but can we just say that there's a trend through all of the Jurassic Park movies that the weapons that they take are wildly inappropriate for the situations that they're going to be in. Like the one where they rebuilt the island and all of that, and the rich guy who runs the island is flying around in his helicopter with a 7.62 minigun.
That made no sense.
Okay, like sure, raptors, like roughly people-sized animals, fine, whatever. 7.62 minigun, fuck them up. What's that going to do to a T-Rex other than piss it off?
Actually, I will say the Lost World when they send those mercenaries, which
those guys were pretty well equipped.
I do want to
the dude running in there with a 50 cal. I'm like, no, that feels appropriate.
Yeah, that's
okay. Hold on, that's the third one. I'm talking about the second one when Engine hires a bunch of like mercenaries and big game hunters to go collect a bunch of them.
Oh yeah,
and they have like all the trucks and everything. I want you to imagine you just get back from like a contract in Iraq and you're working for Blackwater, and one of your buddies like, "Hey man, I know kind of short notice, but like, pay's good. I got another one, tropical location." Like, yeah, sure. What are we doing? You're not gonna believe this shit, but they want us to hunt some dinosaurs.
We're fucking stealing dinosaurs.
Bro, I am in. We're gonna steal dinosaur bones? Nah, bro. Dinosaur. You know, these guys are like sitting there, like in the briefing, looking at each other, like,
this can't be real.
y'all pull them $1,000 a day. You're goddamn right, I'll hunt some dinosaur for you. Fuck it, let's go.
Give me that HKG3 over there. Hell yeah.
And like they had like grenade launchers and machine guns and all this other stuff,
and if memory serves me, the smallest rifle I saw was a 308, which man portable. All right, that makes sense. That's a place for it. So anyways, guys, that has been Conspiracy Theories on Gunday Brunch. We went a little bit off the rails, which we haven't done in a while, so you're freaking welcome for that. We will be back next week with another new episode, and until then, keep liking, sharing, subscribing. And also, if you think that hot e-girls in military uniforms are a psyop, do 1,000 push-ups. 1,000.
1 million push-ups.
1 million. Zen.